Hey goddesses, welcome to another episode of Permission to be Wealthy. I am a little excited. I've been waiting to have you meet this incredible woman, Dr. Amanda Barrientez, known as the Money Healer. You know this is going to be fun, right? The Money Healer. She's the founder of NFA, which I'm going to leave her to tell you what that stands for, and the NFA Money Mema Mastermind. She loves sharing tips on how to up-level your money mindset to manifest easier money in your business. Is this our woman or what? I think I've just ordained you officially a goddess.
Yes, I love that title.
All right. So here we love talking about being wealthy and granting ourselves to have permission to experience higher levels of wealth. But before we dive into that, I want to ask you, as someone who works with other women, and as someone who's had, I can't wait for everyone to hear your story, an interesting journey, how do you define wealth today and being wealthy?
That's a great question. I would say getting to do what you love in the world every day. So waking up and feeling excited, inspired, happy to be alive, loving what you do, and just expanding that every single day. That to me is the definition of wealth.
Awesome. All right. The Money Healer. How would you coach, mentor, guide a woman who is saying at this moment, because you and I think, have a very similar story, and I'm kind of saving that as a cherry on the top, but how would you guide a woman who's saying, I am not at the place in my journey where I even feel like I have the right to say I want to be wealthy or that I deserve wealth?
When you say that, it makes my eyes fill with tears because I know how that feels, and I think that we all struggle with that experience of, am I enough to want what I want?
Yeah.
Am I allowed to want what I want? And why do I get to have it when other people don't? Or am I worthy of creating it in my reality? And so, I think for women who are stuck in a place of, it's really scarcity mindset and thinking that somehow you weren't born worthy of, the ultimate abundance.
Yeah.
It's starting to play with seeing yourself, I would say, through your child's eyes.
I love that.
Like your inner child, right? All of us have a little inner child in there that is just really desperately reaching out to be loved and express yourself in the world. And, a lot of things happen to us through our life course that cause us to have what I call money blocks.
Yeah.
And beliefs that we're not good enough, or we shouldn't want that, or it's greedy to want it, or there's not enough on the planet for everybody, and things like that. And so start playing with holding your inner child. I actually have a picture on my office wall of myself when I was 5 years old. I used to do a whole bunch of cheerleading, around the living room, cheers for my family and stuff. And my brother used to call me Smiles Too Much.
Oh my gosh.
Because I was such a happy little character, and then life happened and a whole bunch of hard stuff happened, and that kind of died. And so it's taken me into my 40s to rediscover my own brilliance, and every single one of us has that.
One of the things that I have loved about meeting you is you kind of coined yourself in this, body of work that you do as being very practical and giving formulas and tips, and I love that. And my brand, my business is called the Science of Getting Rich Academy. So it's I love I love making it here's a proven system, just follow it. How do you step into that practical place and say, hey mama, hey goddess, hey woman of power, this is the way, this is the step that you take to give yourself permission to have the wealth that you desire?
Good questions. I love this. It's funny that when I coined myself as practical, actionable, it's part of that is the practical action of stepping into your heart, which I think that especially driven women tend to hide because they've got to be masculine. And so they show up in the world in this way tough. And, my company named NFA, no fucking around.
That's right. She finally got to it.
It's that's a tough mentality in a certain way.
Yeah.
But I love to help people get into the practical place of NFA love, NFA relaxation, NFA wealth building. NFA joy.
Yeah.
Like, are you experiencing joy in your life, and are you tapping into your heart to understand, like, why do I even care about what I'm doing in the world?
Yeah.
And how can I bring that energy to it? And so it's interesting because it's practical, actionable strategies really to be aligned, which alignment takes feeling good. Yeah. And most people are running around in the world feeling pretty bad. Like, they're stressed, they're overwhelmed. Especially as an entrepreneur, you tend to work a lot. A lot of women especially will over deliver and undercharge. Yeah. And so they're giving their all to their family, their partner, their job and their business, and they're like, why do I feel so drained at the end of the day? And so it's reaching back in and going like, wait, I'm the source of abundance. And if I don't feel abundant and I feel depleted, then where is that going to come from?
Yeah. And so when you have that awareness, what would you say? Okay, and this is what I do. The actual, I have the awareness that I am depleted. Mm-hmm. I am not really feeling wealthy, but I desire to have wealth, however we all define it, right? I desire to have that, and I actually need to give myself permission because there is no one else that's going to give it to me.
Yeah, you're exactly right. So a really simple strategy is first thing in the morning, ask yourself, I like to say, how am I vibing today? And if I'm vibing low, then, and even if I'm vibing high, still do this, but especially if I'm vibing low, do something nice for yourself. And this could just be get a cup of tea and sit and look out the window for a few minutes. Meditate for 2 minutes. It doesn't have to be 20 minutes. Write in your journal. Read a book that's uplifting to you. I'm really into small periods of time of up-leveling your joy and just doing it systematically throughout the day. Yeah. Because it's very easy to get overwhelmed throughout the day. You might still get up really aligned, do a couple things that feel good, and then an hour later, after you checked your email, you feel like crap. Yeah. Yeah. And so you got to do it again. Yeah. And so I like to teach simple, like 2-minute mindset strategies. It's like, okay, let's do a mindset switch for 2 minutes. And so a lot of times I use what I call mantras, and it's just a mix of affirmations in a mantra-based way because repetition is what reprograms your subconscious mind. Yeah. And so when you notice you're feeling low vibe, you just go like, okay, what am I focusing on that's stressing me out? Let's say you're going, oh my God, I feel overwhelmed. There's too much on my plate. Then you go ask yourself, what do I choose to feel? And you do a reframe. So I choose to feel relaxed. And then you just say, I choose to feel relaxed. I choose to feel relaxed. And keep saying it until you notice a shift in your energy and then move on with your day.
I love it. I absolutely love it. I'm listening to you and I'm reminded of a decision I made recently where I asked myself those questions. And my answer was that, have you ever heard this advice in the coaching industry where like the women, I find a lot of women that teach strategy and heavy business strategy for creating wealth, and they'll say, hire help so that you can use your time to create money, right? Mm-hmm. So someone will come in and clean your house, and then you can work because you can make more money. And I go, that's a sound piece of advice, but I don't want to work while someone is cleaning my house. I actually want someone to clean my house so I can relax.
Oh, right? I love it. Yeah.
And it's like, believe it or not, that seemed like such an amazing thing. And I recently made the decision to go to every week of cleaning my house, from 2 weeks to every week. But you know what? Every time the house cleaner comes, I have to do my morning, my little morning, like, this brings me joy, Yeah. And it's interesting, it's not even about the money at this point. It's really just that one of the things that I heard you say earlier was how we normalize all these things that don't keep us in our highest vibration. Like, we normalize we start to value being productive. Like me. Yeah. It doesn't make sense to have someone clean my house every week. That's not financially responsible, right?
Yeah. Or somehow relaxing isn't productive.
Yeah.
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 Which actually is interesting because relaxing is, I think, one of the greatest things you can do.
That's right. I want to pay money to allow me to relax.
Right? So it's like, it's a reframe in your mind around everything doesn't need, well, what is productivity, right? Like, does it have to be money making? Does it or is it just joy making?
Yeah.
And
did you hear that, goddesses?
Right?
Is it just joy making? Like, that's the productivity I want to sign up for. Yeah. I love that. Oh, that's so good.
It's alignment, right? It's the vibration of alignment and feeling good. Joy is a really high vibration. So when you're in a state of joy, you attract easier money-making opportunities your way, or just opportunities that are fun to you, right? So the more joy you're in, the more you attract joy. The more you attract people who are joyful, the more you attract clients that are joyful, and then your whole life is an expression of joy. But it's impossible for you to get an outcome that's opposite of that's the same of the opposite of what you're experiencing. So if you're stressed to hell every day, you're not going to attract joy. But almost everybody thinks that. And so they show up every day and they go, I'm stressed in what I'm doing. I'm going to push hard. And then later I'll be able to relax. And that is an impossibility based on universal principles.
Oh my gosh, I love it. Here's what I got from that. Be more joyful, right? Find the things, get really clear. Take time every morning to like really tap into what is the thing that will increase my vibration, my energy, my joy today. And give yourself permission to do more of that, because then you'll attract money-making opportunities that are easier, clients that are a life that's just full of joy. And that's wealth. That's wealth. So one of the things that I loved about your story is that we have a similar path in our journey, where you at one point went from being on food stamps to creating a six-figure business. And I would love to hear from you how a little bit about that story, but more importantly, one of the things that you coined is our zone of manifestation. And I would love to know, how did you learn about your zone of manifestation through that experience?
Oh, yeah. Well, my entrepreneurial journey started, I was literally on the basement floor crying one night, and I had left my 15-year marriage having an affair, and my next relationship wasn't working, so he had moved all this stuff out of the house, and I'm staring at this empty basement, and I'm crying, and I'm going, oh my God, I don't know where I'm going to move next, because I couldn't afford any place for me and my 3 kids.
Wow.
I was in grad school, and I had spent the day looking on Craigslist, and I couldn't afford any houses. And I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do? So I was crying, and I was, feeling really sorry for myself. And I was scanning my life course, and I thought, what's the common denominator here? And I realized that it was me. It was like, I'm the one who's the center of this reality. No one's coming to save me. Like, I'm alone here. What am I going to do? And I made a commitment to myself in that moment that I was willing to do whatever it took to learn how to be in a healthy relationship and have more money. And I had no idea where it was going to lead me, but it led me to podcasts.
Yes!
I know. I love podcasts. So I was like, okay, I can listen to podcasts on the go while I'm taking my kids to school and walking between classes. And they really started to change my mindset. And the magical way the universe works, at the same time this was happening to me, my department where I was earning my graduate degree had this national news fallout, and professors were leaving. And I was like, oh my God, I don't want this job anymore. It's really stressful and not fulfilling. And so I thought, all these people who are doing podcasts are coach type people. So what if I just took the leap and became a coach?
Wow.
And so I decided, okay, I was close to the end of my graduate degree, so I decided to finish. And then I took the leap. And in the first year, I went 6 figures in my business. And along that journey, every year it's gotten easier and easier to, now my main mantra is work less, make more, and have fun. And that concept is built around, how do you get into your zone of manifestation, which is really you doing exactly what you love to do. And I love that you brought up delegation, because it's you delegating away the things that are taking time that aren't in your zone of genius. Yeah. And so you want to get into your zone of genius, because what will happen there is that's where you have the highest joy, you have the most fun, and then the money just magnetizes to you a lot more easily because you don't have resistance blocking you.
Oh my gosh. I love this woman. Your zone of manifestation is that place where you get to just doing what you love, like doing what brings you joy. If every woman could just take that and run with it, what a world we would live in. Right?
Wouldn't it be easy if we were taught this when we were little?
Yeah. Then back to the title of the podcast, if we were given permission to even think that, let alone desire it, just to even think that it's okay to just do what we love. Okay.
You're so right. I mean, we're programmed to believe that you've got to work hard, and that someday down the road, it's like, get up, go to school, get good grades, get a good job. Then someday you can retire, and then you'll have fun.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want that life. I want no part of that life.
Absolutely not. I love it. Okay, so if our listeners could do one thing that would align them to the wealthiest version of themselves, one thing, what would you say that would be?
I would say the one thing that you must do is dig into your subconscious belief system about money, because your subconscious belief system is what's going to keep you either in scarcity or abundance. And so my book, I Am a Money Magnet, is written all about this. It has over 100 journaling questions to help you dig into your subconscious belief system around money, because Because most people don't do that. So just, if you don't get the book, do this first. Just ask yourself, what do I believe about making money? What do I believe about wealthy people? What do I believe about relaxing?
Yeah.
That's a money block, right?
Yeah.
So you want to start to dig into, where am I going to run into blocks to abundance, which happens to all of us. I've never met a person who doesn't have money blocks. And so the one thing is just start to question everything you believe about money, so that you can start to break through your subconscious beliefs about money, so that you can surpass your money set point.
I love that. And earlier I heard you saying that, they're even you have clients who are wealthy who will start off saying, I don't have any money blocks. And then you start working with them and they're like, oh, well, maybe I do. And to continue that conversation is, especially for us women, the idea that working hard is actually a money block.
Mm-hmm.
Having to work harder, having the belief that we need to work hard is actually disguised. It's a money block.
Yeah,
right?
It's praised, right?
Yeah.
You're somehow you're worthy if you're working hard.
Yeah, that's
and
right.
You've earned it.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so I had another amazing question, and of course, it's like I want to ask so many things, but I'll just say, if we could end with your one step of your 3-step process, the NFA. Can you say what it means?
No fucking around.
There we go. Right? And I really love the step number 1, which is to reprogram. And I think that's what you kind of said, because I know that the women that I've been blessed to serve, many of us recognize that we're not sitting at home going, let me see what's in my subconscious mind today. It's not a thing that we do. And I love that you've offered your book and journal prompts to get us to look at that. But here's my question. How can we feel certain that it's going to be worth it to do that?
Oh, wow. This is key, and we can talk about this for a long time.
Yep.
Because you need to have certainty in order for things to change.
Yeah.
And so let's say that you don't have the certainty that it's going to be worth it. Just start with somewhere that you do have certainty. And what that could be is like, I know I don't feel good right now, so I'm willing to try something different.
Yeah.
So plant the seed in your mind. I use mantras, must be believable 100% to you. And it's why most people do affirmations wrong.
Yeah.
Is because they don't actually subconsciously believe it to be true. So they're actually creating resistance.
Yeah.
So what you want to do in that situation is just start with a statement that is possible for you to believe. So it's like, I believe it's possible that this could work.
Yeah.
That could be something you start with.
Yeah.
For me, I'm 100% certain that I know that if I use manifestation-based principles, I can attract anything I choose.
Yeah.
And I know that because I've seen it work in my life and in my clients' lives so well.
Yeah.
So I have no doubt in my mind. But if you're someone who's new to this and maybe you're having a really hard time in your life and you're like, come on, this is some baloney.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then you got to start with something you do believe. Go like, okay, maybe it's possible. And just start down that road. And then just start doing the strategies that the people's lives who you see are working, model after them.
Yeah.
Because success leaves clues.
Yeah.
You are a goddess who has so many tools, and so do I, and it's worked for both of us.
Yeah.
So at least just believe in that enough to go, okay, if they can do it, it's possible. So at least I'm going to take that one next first step and test it out. And I promise you'll prove to yourself that it works.
There you go. I love it. And there's nothing better than self-proof.
Yeah.
Final question. Your favorite affirmation?
Yes. Ooh, well, my first one that I started using that is my all-time favorite is, I'm a money magnet. Everything I touch turns to gold.
Yes.
I love this one so much. Like, when I'd find a penny on the floor, I'd be like, I'm a money magnet. Everything I touch turns to gold. Or I'd get up to the cash register and I'd find out that something was half off, even like a small item. I'd be like, I'm a money magnet. Everything I touch turns to gold. And I just said that all the time, to the point where, I say it to everyone in my family. I say it all to my clients. And it's just this really playful vibe around money, right?
Yeah.
And it helps to create an appreciation with money and a love of money instead of pushing it away like it's some dirty bad thing. Yeah. Right? For us to build wealth, we gotta love money.
Yes, yes. And as goddesses, we love money and we love creating wealth. Thank you, Amanda. It's been amazing to have you.
Thanks for having me on.
You're welcome.